Good afternoon, my friends. This is the Grim Flayer, and I hope you're doing very well today. I hope you are also ready to join me as we give Lurrus of the Dream Den its channel debut. This is a spin-off of the Abzan list that I presented in my double deck tech, 2-in-1 deck tech, presenting both Abzan and Jund. This is basically the exact Abzan list that I presented there, so I will not go into a deck tech here, besides to tell you what the differences are. But first, we have to thank the people responsible for this league. So the Fjord is a wonderful, top tier of the Veil supporter, a very, very cool guy, great guy, generous supporter, and he has qualified for this donation league. The Fjord is also one of the people, alongside myself, brainstorming Abzan, Lurrus, Traverse on the Discord in the first place. Therefore, it is only fitting that this is what he wanted us to play for the donation league. You know, we had a couple ideas, but at the end of the day, we did decide to go with this one. We also have to thank Patreon supporter and Discord moderator, OG Patreon supporter, in fact, one of the earliest ones, Maybe Lotus's, aka Dan, for lending me a Lurrus in a time of need. You know, the cat is in high demand, hot off the presses with Ikoria. Not always easy to find when something like that goes on. What are we doing differently from what I presented? Well, we are getting even more ambitious with a couple copies of Boil, which require the splash of a fourth color in the form of a Stomping Ground and a Blood Crypt. So, this is the Fjord's idea. We were talking about how it might be worth, at some point, violating the protocol of Lurrus by putting permanents with CMC 3 or higher in your sideboard because they're too powerful to do without, and foregoing the companion element of Lurrus for those post-side games. I think there may be a time and a place for that, and when all is said and done, maybe even a BGX Lurrus Traverse list that is fully optimized for a certain metagame does, in fact, have a couple of those kind of non-Bowie cards. So when we were talking about that, of course, Choke came up, and the Fjord said, well, what if instead of Choke we just splash red for Boil? That way nothing violates the Lurrus protocol, but we instead are kind of violating good land-based protocols. We'll see if it hurts us any here. I'm sure it likely will, but hopefully the juice is worth a squeeze. We can boil the Snow-Covered Island decks, and we can boil the Dryad of the Elysian Groves decks. That is the idea, and all the while we are maximizing Lurrus out. So that's all I've got to say. If you want a further exploration of exactly what we're doing here, please do see the deck tech. I will link that in the description below if I remember to. And without further ado, my friends, let us play. Let us play a match here for you. Starting off the season on the right foot, we hope. As we're finding our opponent here, we have 7, count them 7, Patreon supporters to thank. Really does mean a lot to me, especially in this time of crisis. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. We have a trio of brand new Inquisitors. Leopold Stock, or Stoch, I'm not sure, or Stoch, James Proctor, and Tanguy Tretu. I definitely might not have gotten that name correct either. Thank you all so much. And we also have a trio of brand new confidants, Bobby Fitzgerald, Knight Ev, or Knight EV as the case may be, and Ricky Rankle. Thank each of you very, very much, my friends. Welcome to the fold. We will win the die roll and declare Lurrus as our companion. Feels good. Much appreciated. And finally, we have to thank the Argus for upgrading from Inquisitor to Confidant. So to each and every one of you, my friends, we will keep this hand by the way. I say thank you very, very much. Means the world to me, and I hope I continue to earn your patronage. Alright, so right away we have a very awkward Blood Crypt in the opening hand. It's one of the least desirable lands, but I still might lead on it, because it does, to be fair, allow us to get Temple Garden with Verdant Catacombs and have all the colors we need online. We don't need red in game 1. I want to get Catacombs fetching up a Temple Garden, but of course I can't do that on turn 1. So we either forego white or green, which obviously we can't forego green, or we play out this Blood Crypt. So immediately the red splash making our mana just a little bit worse, and immediately we are against a deck I really don't want to face. And just look at this grotesque hand. What are we even supposed to do? What are we even supposed to do? I guess I'm going to take one of the Quattles here, try to batter through the other one, and eventually start buying back our permanents as they trade off via Lurrus. Admittedly, Grim Flayer is a pretty good play on curve here, because he tramples over the Quattle, he gets the trigger, assuming the Quattle trade is what they're going to try to set up, and that's pretty good. But I'm not in the mood to play against Bant Snow for the millionth time. I really wish we were against something else. However, this is what we're against. Let's try to get there. Let's try to beat him. So we're going to draw Stirring Wildwood. I think we still want to get Temple Garden here. We won't have double black, but of course Liliana's not in our deck. I think this is still fine. But Wildwood's a decent draw. It's a utility land, and it means we are going to be able to cast Lurrus guaranteed at some point. And hey, Lurrus at least does definitely play in this matchup. It's not like we're against Big Mana or something where you can expect it to be a relative non-factor, right? Okay, we've drawn Traverse. Not really a great draw. We want, like, interaction, or we want a Mishra's Bauble. Mishra's Bauble would be... I think Mishra's Bauble is very often the card you want to see the most in your opening sequence. It just makes Lurrus so good. And also sets up Traverse and Delirium and Big Goyfs so well, right? Okay, opponent makes the trade. So we assign 1 to kill the snake, and we also trample for 1, finding some weird things. I really didn't want to see the swamp at all, because I don't want to lose basics. We already are going to be basic taxed pretty severely against this match. I'm going to bin Stomping Ground. We could consider leaving the swamp on top. I think we're supposed to. It's weird, but I think that matters as like a resource. And I also want to draw the Voice of Resurgence, and we can also use the Traverse to tutor through the swamp, or maybe they'll have a shuffle by then. Or we could just say forget about it and just bin another land. Maybe we'll just say forget about it. I like drawing Voice here, though. That was a weird spot. I hope what I said made sense. Like, getting a swamp in the top 3 where it's not a card we want to see, but also not a card we want to lose from our deck. That's kind of the issue, right? Play another Flayer. And I almost, again, left that swamp on top just because, like, making land drops number 4 and 5, it means we can double spell with a 3-for-1 with Lurrus buying back a Flayer all on the same turn, and we are likely to get pathed at some point pretty soon, so hitting the 5th land is not unreasonable at all. Finally, I didn't explain this all right there, but I thought about putting Voice on top, Swamp second, in case they path us this turn with Flayer. Then that would be even better, because we tutor the swamp, or tutor another land and shuffle the swamp away. That's kind of what we wanted to happen. I'd still just love to draw a Mishra's Bauble. It'll turn on Delirium, and it'll give us the green light to get a 3-for-1 with Lurrus. Plus, of course, it would let us see more cards. Opponent shocking in a breeding pool, so maybe they will be pathing us, which again kind of makes me wish we put the swamp back in our deck. But that was an interesting call. Yes, indeed. Pretty awkward stuff here. You can see how a bauble would make this whole hand so much better. We would have potentially been connecting for more of the Flayer the first time, but more importantly, we would be looping bauble with Lurrus right now, and also Traverse the Ulvenwald would be live. We definitely cannot afford to use this to go tutor our last basic in the deck. That would be very bad. So, like, our position's not great, is it? Like, it can change if we get the right top deck, but I don't feel our position is very good at the moment. Main phase Snap Path, yeah. We're getting punished for not putting the Swamp second from top. But, if they had had, like, maybe a Planeswalker to play, like a Teferi or something, they would just not have pathed us, and we would just be drawing a Swamp for turn. So that'd be pretty bad, too. I don't mean to harp on it, but that was exactly why I didn't want to see the Swamp in the top 3. All we are drawing is more kind of clumsy threats. Clumsy 1-for-1 threats. So we're just going to get our 2-for-1 now, while the getting is good with Lurrus into Flayer. It's all not quite working as intended here in Game 1. Nihil Spellbomb would have been a wonderful draw at any point in the last couple turns. We want an artifact in the yard, and we need to see more action. We haven't really interacted this game, just a lone Inquisition. Not that impressive, is it? And we do have like a similar level of interactive spells in our deck as like a stock Abzan list would, you know? So OP with a Sanctuary entering tapped, which I'm sure doesn't break their heart because I have nothing to buy back with it anyway. We draw Maelstrom Pulse. Well, I think we're just going to send in the Flayer and see what happens here. We've got so many good draws in the deck. We play 3 copies of Lingering Souls, which seems pretty good in when everything's kind of samey. You know, and it can be a mirror breaker, basically. Flayer connects. Alright, there's a bauble. So, I think we bin this Flayer, so we can play it this turn. I think we bin a Peatland is fine, even though that's a reasonable one, and then we're going to put Bauble on top. And then when we receive priority again, the first thing we will do is cast another Grim Flayer. And obviously all this is pretty soft to, you know, a sweeper effect or something, but given their Uro waiting to come back and dominate the game, I don't think we're really playing around much else. We just have to force action, make them have some good stuff. Opponent tanking over this. I guess they might have permission, or kind of also feels like another Path to Exile that maybe they missed the ideal window for. This probably should be pathing Lurrus here. Flayer will resolve. Could be a Mana Leak too, but Tarmogoyf is a relatively low value card on the whole. It's okay in a situation like this. Alright, they just let it resolve. They let that one resolve really quick. Interesting. What are we dealing with here? An Archmage's Charm to draw, maybe? Indeed. Okay, we gotta fade the big scaries. We have not faded Uro. They find a fetch land, so now the floor for their turn is escape the Uro and see what happens. That's a rough one. If our Traverse had been online earlier, this could easily have been a game where we would Traverse for a Scooze and handle that. But again, we didn't manage to get much card type diversity early on. So we do have both Pulse and Trophy to take care of Uro, but sadly we still only have one black mana. So if they have permission for the first one, then our attacks are not great. Unless we... Now we're going to draw a Bauble. We'll Bauble ourselves here, just for more info, and Collective Brutality is on top. Okay. Replay the Bauble. So Lurrus absolutely dominating right now. And we're going to go for a Pulse on Uro. They could have another Archmage's Charm here that Astrolabe would help them cast. They could have something more plebeian like Mana Leak, or they can exile another Uro to force it. Well, that's actually pretty decent. Just really wish we had a black land here. Just really wish we had a black land. Odds of us not having one are kind of low, right? Anyway, we're just committing even further to this plan and just playing a Tarmogoyf and saying go. And the onus is still on the opponent to do something, because we're looping Bauble every turn until they do. Looks like a Quattle if I've ever seen one. Yep. They are fetching. Will they get Force of Negation back? No. Not interested in that. Okay, upkeep Bauble you, and then draw off our own Bauble. They're about to draw an island. Okay. We draw that Brutality we knew about. Again, lack of black mana is concerning. They found a big Tef, it looks like. Oh my god. Okay. Now we have to hope our trophy hits the Teferi. Doesn't get countered. And yeah, at least they have incentives to stay back with Uro. Okay, it'll be a real interesting question as to how to sequence here. They obviously have Cryptic mana up. They played... What did they play for a land that turn? They played a Flooded Strand. Okay, so that island is still in their hand. Fatal Push. Scavenging Ooze. Okay, well, I like Scooze. Scooze is pretty good right now. But let's begin getting our Lurrus value. And then we'll give Scooze a try. I think, like, we don't need to necessarily force action on the Teferi quite yet, just because we are getting the free value. And yeah, sure enough, Scooze is good enough to draw out a Cryptic command, as I kind of expected it would. And so now I'm pretty cool trophying Tef. They're tapping down the team. Yeah, okay. Sure. Now we'll try this. And then we can use the bauble, followed by actually turning Traverse on for the first time. We still have the Uro to contend with. And the Uro just got a lot scarier with our Ooze getting countered and with our team getting tapped down, so they have the freedom to attack with impunity this turn, and who knows what happens from there, right? Oh, wait, we don't even need... We have a creature now, too, so we don't even need to bauble yet, and we might as well not. Alright, so normally here I would probably be traversing for Ooze, but there's only a 1-of, and it just got countered. So, could traverse for either Bob or Voice. Probably Bob. Or a black land. Ooh. We haven't played a land yet this turn. Right? Doesn't look like it, so why don't we get a black land and push Uro? What do we think about that? I think that's correct. We have more than enough threats here. We have to activate Bauble first, though. Might as well target ourselves, because they're just going to fetch. Okay, that was a heck of a turn, guys. We are grinding like crazy with a Bant deck. It's anyone's game, obviously. And we know they're going to be able to escape Uro yet again. Uro's really keeping them in it. But I think this eats away at their resources really well this way. So, what are you going to do? Obviously, still really soft to a verdict. But until then, we're doing a lot. We're doing a lot. Lurrus of the Dream Den. So now they might get Mystic Sanctuary. No? Okay. I guess that makes sense because that could prevent them from escaping an Uro. We draw Inquisition off our Bauble. Well, we have to put on our thinking caps right away here in round one. Again, I really wish we were... Ooh. Did they put an island in play? I think they did. It was hard to tell. I was kind of half watching, half glancing at the text box. I think we'll say that island's out of their hand. Opponent attacking us? Oh boy. Do they have a verdict? They must have a verdict. Well, that's pretty much... Well, maybe not. Maybe they just have another cryptic command. They're going to upkeep Path. Okay. Thoughtseize. Yes. Please don't have another cryptic command. Of course they do. Of course they do. Bouncing Mystic Sanctuary. What a ridiculous loop. This is probably going to whiff now, right? Oh, Force of Negation, okay. But the rest of our hand is pretty much bricks. And we're not technically dead because Stirring Wildwood can block. But I guess if they use the Sanctuary to go put Cryptic on top, or we're just about deterministically dead. But we'll play it out because we're ahead on the clock, and we'll pull a little bit further ahead. Our cleanest block here, I guess, is on Snapcaster Mage. Again, doesn't matter. No, because they're going to draw Cryptic right now, and they can bounce Wildwood. Okay, GG. Yep, our grinding power was amazing. We literally just got beat by Uro, and that just sucks. But that's what their deck is all about, right? So we have boils for you. We're going to boil you. It's going to be great. We can consider brutalities. I might not play all 3. In fact, I'm going to start by planning to play 2. 1 Spellbomb seems good. Gaddock Teeg beats Cryptic Command. I don't know if it beats much else. Well, it beats Verdict. Yeah, we'll play Teeg. Sculler, potentially. But we don't want to overboard either. I'm going to cut all Fatal Pushes. We have other ways to try to win through their bodies on field. Our deck seems pretty good here. I think I'm actually considering cutting all 4 Tarmogoyfs and just play the value game. Tarmogoyf is like our only thing without 2-for-1 potential in the main deck if we, consider Flayer milling things to be a 2-for-1 in a sense, even though strictly speaking it's not. I like everything else in the deck. I don't know how often we're supposed to trim a single Traverse or something. I could see doing that, but again, I don't really think we need 3 Brutality. They have too many permanents to worry about. It's not like they're a draw-go deck. So, this seems good. We've got a high threat density, and a lot of them are 2/2s. That's kind of the Abzan Traverse style, though. And again, we're going to try to win the value game. I think we're supposed to. I think we're definitely supposed to with Lurrus. We saw Lurrus single-handedly keeping us in it against Uro. The cards they found off of their Uro were better than the cards we found off of our Bauble. That was the problem. We were drawing more cards than them. We punched a hole in their plan pretty well, but they just kept finding, Cryptic and Sanctuary and Big Teferi and stuff like that, whereas we were finding, more kind of samey threats. I will say that the meta feels pretty hostile to mid-range right now. A lot of the experimental decks being tried are very grindy because they're incorporating companions. And then beyond that, you've got the usual uphill battles of blue-based Uro decks, of big mana decks, of all the rest. Feels a little bit rough to me, but we're doing our best. And that was a really good display, actually, from Lurrus to start things off. We'll declare Lurrus again. This hand's pretty good. I don't like seeing a basic land, otherwise it's pretty awesome. Can't really complain. And we're ahead on the clock by about 3.5 minutes, so if we can win this game, we have a very realistic chance of winning on the clock. Opponent tanking over their keep or mull decision, or perhaps AFK. Your guess is as good as mine, my friends. They will mulligan a lovely sign, a lovely sight. Inquisition into Flayer is a really good start against this deck, because again, Flayer trampling over a Quattle is much better than trying to attack with a Tarmogoyf into a known or potential Quattle. Opponent down to 5 and taking yet more time on the clock. This is boding pretty well for us. Okay, they're happy at 5. Let's take a card away. Only take is an Astrolabe. Their hand is 3 lands and a Supreme Verdict, so they're extremely dependent on some good top decks. Otherwise, we just keep crushing them. And with Flayer setting up our game plan, we've also drawn a Boil. That seems excellent. It seems really good. Worth noting that traversing for the land is not good here because we A, don't usually want to do that, but B, specifically need the 4th land to be red. Tidehollow Sculler, and very interesting draw. Almost certainly playing it, but let's attack first and see what they do and what we hit. Trophy, Verdant Catacombs, Lingering Souls. Okay, I think this is pretty easy. We're going to bin the trophy, which is not good right now, and the souls, which we get value out of. Say okay, and then we're going to draw the fetch land next turn, which is going to get us our 4th land, and it's going to be red for Boil. I think we do want to play Sculler because we know they have a Verdict in hand. We know that's a good take. Opponent mono-leaking the Sculler. That's a little rough. That's an example of the type of draw they needed to make to stay competitive, but it does give us Delirium. We do have Boil that we're setting up. We got a lot to like. Ooh, they could field us. They could field us off of our land on top, but I was going to say that'd be kind of a weird play for them to make, but they make it. All right. Well, we now have a fail rate of not being able to draw a red land ever for Boil. And just getting, like, fielded and pathed out of the game. I think I'm definitely cantripping here. Plenty of value in their yard to take away. All right, we drew Windswept Heath. All is well. All is well. The only problem is Boil's not that effective against their land base right now. Well, let's attack. Mishra's Bauble, Dark Confidant, Collective Brutality. Interesting. I think I'm... Wow, I like all those cards. I like them all a lot. I wasn't really necessarily planning to traverse this turn, but now I don't know. This is real interesting, isn't it? I think I'm going to put the Bauble in the yard, because it's a good place to have one with Lurrus as a companion. And I think I'm going to stack both of these cards on the top, but I'm probably fetching them away in some capacity. But I think I'm just going to say go. The disaster is kind of if we play Souls and they play a non-island land and verdict us, but I'm going to play Souls. I'm going to play Souls and say go. They play a Mystic Sanctuary. Okay, perfect. Now we get to keep clocking, keep pressuring. We get to draw that Collective Brutality. So we can take the verdict out of their hands and maybe just win that way. Failing that, we can always, like, they'll tap out for verdict, we'll Boil them, and we'll be in a good spot. Just going to bin more fetch lands. I think leaving Dark Confidant on the top is fine, but again, it's possible we shuffle him away. It would kind of suck if they had another Mono-Leak here, and they deny that, then they get to verdict us, but again, then we just Boil. Haha, looks like it. So that for that reason, it was worth maybe leading on Inquisition, but again, this is totally fine. Okay. We're going to draw the Bob, then untap. Or, excuse me, draw the Bob, then fetch, boil. See you later, islands. It's only a it's only a double stone rain, but that's still very good. Nice. So they got nothing. So now we're going to lead on Inquisition and clear the way, probably for Lurrus into Bauble. Checking mostly for a path to exile here. They have 2 paths and a Jace. Interesting. I think we're holding off on the Lurrus in that case. It might be a little greedy. I don't want them to draw Grave Hate, but I don't think the odds of that are very high. And if they draw Grave Hate, or Traverse becomes bad. So I'm going to Traverse for a threat of some kind now. I guess Tidehollow Sculler is the play here. I'm trying to stay ahead on the clock, so I'm not giving these decisions perhaps their due. But yeah, that's really good. Tidehollow, take the path. You cannot respond to Tidehollow Sculler profitably in a situation like that because it's 2 separate lines of text, unlike something like Kitesail Freebooter. The draw of Bauble's fine here. Let's play our Lurrus. Let's get our free... I'm going to actually play Spellbomb instead of Bauble. They're both really good here. But we get our Bauble from hand, and we Bauble the opponent on their upkeep. Soul Guide Lantern, they do have Graveyard Hate. Wow. Okay. It's kind of what I was worried about. Oh no, this bug is coming back where we can't see the images. That's so annoying. I'll restart that in between games. I keep doing stuff to try to fix it, but I might need more help fixing it than I thought. All right, guys, we dumpstered Bant that game. That was amazing. Granted, they mulled the 5 and we had a boil. But our value was very strong and our disruption was very strong. We want to do anything different on the draw. I wonder if, like, all the removal is necessary. 2 path, 2 trophy, decay, pulse. All of those are good at different things. But the path is a little non-bowie with the boil plan. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut 1 path, play all 3 brutality. It's kind of a arbitrary call, but it seems fine. Still ahead on the clock, a little less so than we were before. But we have a no-lander. That really sucks. That really, really sucks. Opponent keeping 7. It's our turn to mull. Okay, this is a fine one. Inquisition into Sculler into Boil. It's a keep. We'll bottom 1 of our 4 lands. I guess a fetch land is fine to bottom here. And hope this is enough. Come on, Boil. Boil Blowout. Ooh, ew. You hate to draw a basic swamp, but hey, we will have the 4th land for Boil on curve if that's available to us. We're just taking Monoleak here. Then we'll try to Tidehollow the Jace, and then we'll try to... Or Tidehollow the Teferi, and then we'll... Maybe they'll be priced into Jace on Summon or something, but either way, we're setting up for a really big boil. Sculler. Take the little Tef, pass to you. Field of Ruin. Well, we can't show them the Stomping Ground anytime soon. Are they going to field us on the upkeep? Looks like they might. The draw of Traverse is kind of bad here. Okay, I think we're supposed to risk them having a verdict. Playing Grim Flayer here is pretty good. If they have permission, that's whatever. Again, Lurrus helps rebuild from Verdict pretty well, and we have the Boil that we're trying to set up. Okay, one basic left in the deck. Let's not draw it ever for the entire game. Okay, they're pathing. Yeah, my god. My goodness. Okay, we're out of basics and it's turn 3. Bro. Alright, we're all in on Boil winning us the game. Hope the opponent just plays an island here. They play the Misty. I think we still have to Boil here. We can't let them have Jace. Inquisition, I can get behind. Really wish it was a Thoughtseize, though. Can you imagine how good this would be as a Thoughtseize right now? But we get Snapcaster Mage. Cool. So Boiling is just... once again, a double Stone Rain, but that's gotta be correct in the face of a Jace coming down next turn. Really annoying, though, that they had the path there. And really annoying that they have another Field of Ruin in hand, so their land destruction is going to start wreaking havoc. But all we can do is try to turn on Delirium, try to draw a Bauble or a Spellbomb. Either would be among our best draws here. Failing that, we just jam the Flayer, obviously. But with nothing to buy back with Lurrus and with Traverse dead in hand right now, that's the big problem with our progression. That and the opponent having found, those good early-ish cards. I would definitely take any just natural threat off the top, too. Oh, Field o' Ruin. The clock is real from OP. And they finally got green mana. Collective Brutality. Well, now I'm worried that they have Veil of Summer. And I think we're just supposed to say Flayer go, even though that kind of sucks. Man. Yep, just like, not really. We're just missing a piece. We're missing a piece for this. Here comes Jace. But can the opponent beat us and beat the clock? That remains to be seen. But this is definitely a better spot for Brutality. Ooh. Yeah, I still think we cast Brutality. But it's really tempting to just go Flayer Bob. But it's too bad against a potential sweeper. So yeah, with 2 cards in hand, let us cast a Brutality, and we see Cryptic Command Path to Exile. Those are 2 of the best cards, man. 2 of the very best. Brutish. I guess we take the 2 for 1. Unbelievable. Where's their fail rate at? They're not experiencing one. Oh, man. So we play the Flayer, of course, because at this stage we'd rather lose the Flayer to a Path than a Bob. I'm telling you, we draw a Bauble or a Spellbomb, and suddenly, I mean, granted that the window for that being really good gets much narrower every turn that Jace goes uncontested. Another Bob. Okay, I accept. We run out the Flayer into this path, attack Jace, and then we're just going to play a double Bob. They found another piece of permission, and it's the 3rd Mana Leak. Disgusting. At least we have another Bob. Now, granted, Teferi bounces him, and Jace brainstorms and everything else, but we're continuing to put pressure on the opponent to find stuff off the top. They find Timely Reinforcements. That's a really good draw, actually. Because they just need to end the game. Wow. And they're starting to Fate Seal, looking for another win condition as well. Putting a card to the bottom, at least. Mishra's Bauble. There it is. There it is. Bauble OP here. They're going to draw a Quattle. And we get to Traverse. What do we want here? What extends the game the best for us? Maybe either Voice or Scooze. I think I should take Voice here at this stage. Loop the Bauble. And say go. We've drawn Spellbomb, seems nice. Opponent on that Fate Seal plan. Oh, they're Fate Seal themselves? Interesting. Another Teferi, yeah. In response to this bounce, I'm going to Bauble them to see what they put on top. Path to Exile. Oh, no. They're really finding everything they could possibly need to stay competitive here. You hate to see it. Trophy. Okay. I'm going to trophy the Jace. Now all we have to do is not lose to the weenies. Think it might be better to play Spellbomb here than to do anything else. And I'm just going to main phase it looking for another land drop. It's a lot of value to get out of their yard. And we were rewarded with a Stirring Wildwood. Okay. All right, let's not lose. Let's not lose. I'm going to lead on Voice, I think. It's going to make them playing on our turn, obviously, very awkward. And let's get Lurrus back down if we can. Get our bauble. Bauble the opponent. Think we still have a Blood Crypt to fetch as far as a red land goes, which I guess we want, because second Boil is still in our deck. Yeah, Voice and Lurrus shutting off the clock here. Or are they? They still are. Or the Voice still is, rather. Another Quattle is, again, among their better draws here. What else? What else? Another path? Come on! Is that all 4 paths? This is bunk, man. Maybe I mistracked that. I dismissed a path from their hand. I don't know. At this point, I have no idea. We draw land off Bauble, Maelstrom Pulse. All right. Let's try to pulse the Quattles here. Play a Grim Flayer. Still trying just not to die. It might have been slightly better to pulse the soldiers just because the clock is what matters, but I've reasoned that flying was the thing to worry about. Oh, great, Mystic Sanctuary. Dude, if we lose with them having less than a minute on the clock, they're just finding all the things they could possibly need to race us. This is disgusting. This should not be possible. This should not be possible. Oh my god. Oh my god. Thoughtseize, such a bad draw, dude. Okay, gotta play the Bob. Try to block with it in Wildwood. Wildwood has reach, but obviously we'd rather trade with a soldier. So we can block the next turn. I think we're going to lose with them having under a minute on the clock. I don't think I've done anything wrong here. Really. Oh, they're shocking in Breeding Pool? What on earth? Jace the Mind Sculptor. It looks to me like they're taking unnecessary actions, but maybe they're just trying to find a way to bounce or kill the Wildwood so they can kill us this turn. Yeah, I wish we drew, like, anything besides Thoughtseize there. Please don't have an out. Please don't have an out. They have an out. You can tell by the hesitation. This is... Oh, what are they doing? They have a freaking Snapcaster Mage. they're going to kill us without the time to take a second turn. Like, if we had been able to even save 1 point of life this turn, we win. Unreal. Guys, this is literally what my life is with Magic lately. It is a great game. Lurrus is OP. The deck was fine, but could we possibly get any unluckier? Yes, we could. I don't want to exaggerate. Yes, we could. I'm going to restart my client, and I'll talk a little bit more about that after I do so. Alright guys, we're back. To answer my question, yes, we could obviously have gotten unluckier. We could have mulliganed to Oblivion and had a non-game. I would rather almost have done that. I cannot tell you. Like, I feel... And understand, I'm not tilting here. I'm trying to reason something out, and I'm also trying to be real with you. I feel like I'm in some kind of cursed loop right now, where things in my life just keep going like this. Every little thing is going like this lately, and it's been like a 2020 thing, and I'm really trying to stay objective and try not to develop a negativity bias, but an unconscionable amount of my recent games, both on and off camera, have literally ended with the opponent beating me with about 10 seconds left on the clock. I would so much rather play a quick game and move on with my life. I have way too much that I have to do for this to be like a great use of my time. So I'm a little bit tilted that we lost there, but we're here in round 2, and we have a hand that would be amazing if the land was not a basic plains. It'd still be minorly risky to keep it, but it'd be well worth the keep if we had like a Blooming Marsh. We obviously have to mulligan this one though. Send it back. Does not function. And this is a really good 6. Opponent will mull as well, so we keep... I'm going to put the basic swamp back. It could... Oh, man, but we have double Thoughtseize. We're actually probably supposed to keep basic swamp, obviously at the risk of it being another Path to Exile deck where we really get punished for it. We don't want to keep fetch lands unnecessarily with a double Thoughtseize hand against an aggressive deck either. And those aggressive decks do still exist, so we're against Push, Inquisition, Kolaghan's Command. Pretty easy take of IOK here, because then we can Thoughtseize away their K-Command. Next turn. I don't know if this is Rakdos or if it's Jund that doesn't happen to have a green land. Either way, we're going to rip the hand up. Kroxa. Okay, still don't know if it's Rakdos or Jund. I'm going to take the K-Command for sure. From there, it's a little unclear as to what to do. I guess we just have to we just have to do something now. And we just have to not get white mana. And I'm going to take away the Kroxa, and potentially we'll draw a Brutality or a fourth discard spell for that Fatal Push, or just running the Goyf out into it, and eventually planning to buy back with Lurrus is not unreasonable either. Okay, opponent found another land. We draw Inquisition. Rewarded. Very rewarded for our sequencing. Obviously really nice, really lucky, more than anything. But it's good to draw these discard spells, of course, early in a BGX mirror. Now our mission is to find a third land in a Mishra's Bauble. And then it's Lurrus time. We also need to fade some pretty good top decks like Liliana. Scavenging Ooze, huh? Alright, I think we're playing Scooze in the hopes that it lives and can just eat Kroxa. It is softer to certain cards like Bolt and Kolaghan's Command than our Tarmogoyf would be, but I think the upside is there. Thankfully, finally, I say finally, it's only round 2, but again, lately on and off camera, it's been all blue decks in big mana, and I am so tired of it, my friends. I love good, grindy, decision-based games, but just lately, ooh, no! No, they found a fetch land, it's Kroxa time. Yeah, that's rough. So now, we have to lose our Goyf, and that's okay. So we get to push the Kroxa, then eat it with the Ooze. And again, eventually buy back the Goyf with Lurrus once we're operational. So again, our sequencing has paid off so far. I'd love to draw like a Stirring Wildwood here. Dark Confidant. Alright. Scoozy going to town. Opponent has 1 unknown and 1 basic swamp in hand. Liliana. Brutal. And they're still not showing us the swamp. So, at least they are breaking a bit. I guess trophying the Liliana's better than playing Bob, mostly. Yeah, I want to make every spell count, so I think this is fine. We get punished for this in a few different ways, including them drawing another Liliana would be probably the worst way we get punished for it. But obviously them drawing discard as well. Grim Flayer. 6 1 half dozen of the other. I'm going to play the Bob. Higher upside if he sticks. Opponent with a Scooze. Ooh boy. And yet another land. Scooze is going to wreak all kinds of havoc. But we're going to draw 2 cards per turn for the foreseeable future. Let's draw a Fatal Push. Come on, Bobby. Come on, Bobby. Blooming Marsh, Grim Flayer. Fail, fail, fail. Deciding between Flayer and Lurrus. I think I'm playing a Flayer. It's less mana efficient, but like the card selection to find a removal spell in conjunction with Bob, also manipulating the top deck in favor of Bob is what's really appealing here. But obviously we wish we drew Flayer plus Fatal Push would have been perfect. Opponent in top deck mode, they don't have anything else. They have Trophy. Okay. They trophy our Bob. And the race is on. We can't block because they can eat Bob before damage. Alright. Stomping Ground. Oh, man. Alright, let's try to put something good in the graveyard for Lurrus. Admittedly, Stomping Ground as the 5th land does broaden the amount of cards that we can have. Mishra's Bauble. There it is. So, Bauble to the bin. Garden to the bin. Do we want to draw Traverse the Ulvenwald, or do we want to bin that too? Let's bin it all. Yeah, Traverse is pretty dead. And actually, if they're heads up here, they can eat the Bauble in response, which I really hope they don't. They do. Darn. It's still a free card for us, and we can still do some really good work with it and with the follow-up Flare, but if the opponent had missed that, it would have been obviously nutty. All right. Need another brick from the opponent. It's asking a lot because they have flooded. But our failure to hit removal kind of necessitates that, and whatever they have doesn't allow them to attack. All right. Oh, we brick so hard. That just sucks. That just sucks, dude. We're getting, like, soloed by the Skoos right now. Sure. Skoos eating a bunch of relatively inconsequential cards, but it does make sense for them to do so. They'll cycle Baron more. Inquisition will see our Blood Crypt. I kind of read them for a discard spell. Alright, come on removal. Come on removal. Voice of Resurgence. The problem is if, we attack and they have a stop in their damage or end of combat, we won't have priority to cast these flares. So some of you might be thinking, why not Suicide in and buy them back with Lurrus? That would be why. Voice is a good card in the matchup, but it just does not change what's going on. We're still soft to them finding action, and we still are overwhelming favorites if we find a piece of onboard action, a removal spell, or something that we can loop with Lurrus, like, really proactively. They find a Goyf. That's pretty scary right now. We have them too, but that's not what we want to draw. We want to draw a kill spell. A Mishra's Bauble. We did it. They can respond to this trigger, though, right? Yeah. Once again, just getting soloed. Getting soloed by the Skoos. Another Bauble we're about to draw. This is a kind of an annoying setup, too, I'm not going to lie. I'm happy to be here with you guys having fun. But we're not catching too many breaks lately. We're a BGX deck. We have a ton of interaction. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold up. Turn off auto yields. I totally misread something. We're drawing a trophy, not a bauble. So, in response to their Inquisition, of course, go ahead and trophy the Skoos. So, opponent has bricked pretty hard, too. They've flooded, and they've drawn some badly timed discard spells as opposed to our well-timed discard spells. I guess they have a Thoughtseize in hand. I just, totally missed out on my ability to track what they had going on. I'm going to block with Voice here. I don't want to die to a bolt. That Swamp's on the field. Okay, let's begin by rebuying the Voice. Might as well main phase the Flayer to grow our Elemental token. 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yep. Concession. Woo! Okay. The stalemate broken by us drawing a piece of removal. That's all we needed. And we also needed the opponent not to draw hot, which admittedly they did not. Sweet. Okay, we outground Jund in game 1. Lurrus was a pretty key component of that, but admittedly Skoos made it a lot worse. We don't have much in the sideboard at all for this matchup. I want this Nihil Spellbomb, and that's probably about it. But we're kind of pre-boarded for Jund, I guess you could say. Probably cut one discard spell. I think Thoughtseize should, like, we can cut the first Thoughtseize before the first Inquisition, even though it doesn't hit Bloodbraid and maybe Huntmaster if they bring that in. Because our mana's painful, so we gotta respect that. But yeah, we are kind of pre-boarded. This Brutality isn't great, but what else would we rather play over it, you know? I think we can leverage one Brutality. I think this is fine. All right, that was good. Hey, so far so good. Again, I don't want to get too wrapped up in our actual results. I want to see how the deck performs. And my suspicion, actually, with all due respect to the deck we're playing, is that the Jund Traverse Lurrus list is probably stronger. So keep that in mind as well. Not that the white one doesn't have a lot to like. But yeah, so far I'm favorably impressed by Lurrus. How about you? Okay, this is a one-lander, but we can fix the one land by tutoring for a basic with Traverse. It's got a lot to like. It's a definite keep. Opponent will mulligan. Looking good. Looking good so far, but it is Jund. They can definitely still curve out and crush us on the play. Not as likely doing it on 5, though, is it? Okay. OP's at 5. You know, there is an argument for playing Traverse turn 1, because that plays around them unmulliganing themselves with they have a Veil of Summer. But, like, another way for a more realistic, maybe, way for them to unmulligan themselves is to have a Wrenn in 6. So I think I am supposed to Inquisition. Make them have a way to punish us for this. They don't. They have Fulminator Mage and Tarmogoyf. Ooh, gotta take the Fulminator on our one-lander, don't we? Yeah. A little scary. Okay, upkeep Bauble you, and they're drawing another Blackcleave Cliffs. Yikes. Not good for OP. Okay, yep. Alright, Bauble, show us a second land. No. So we've got a Traverse for 1, which is fine. I'm going to get a Swamp. Let's play Nihil Spellbomb and say go. We could definitely have asked for a more efficient turn, but hopefully we'll draw the third land naturally. Opponent rips an Inquisition. That is a well-timed Inquisition, unlike some of their ones last game. We've just got a handful of gas. I don't know what they're going to take here. You could see them taking our Goyf, just because it's what blocks theirs, and maybe they just take Trophy because it's our removal for Goyf. It's probably one of the two. You could see them trying to maybe land screw us by taking Traverse as well, but that is less likely to me. Especially if they... I mean, there's no reason they would think this deeply about it, but they might be like, well, if they want to Traverse for Trophy, or to play Trophy or Goyf, they need to get green, and then they don't have white for souls. I don't know. There's a lot going on, obviously. They take Grim Flayer. That's like the only card besides Lingering Souls I didn't name. So it shows what I know. I'm kind of surprised, to be honest, but whatever. We draw the third land. Never didn't have it. Never didn't have it. It's the wrong color, though, but we'll take it. You know what I kind of want to do is just go Lurrus into Bauble and start immediately 3-for-1ing them. Really force them to have an answer to it. It's a good mana-efficient play as well. And it's going to make all of our upcoming turns until they can disrupt this as efficient as possible. Well, they're going to top deck a Lily, so that's very punishing. Yikes. Yeah, punished. I mean, it's still an X for 1 in our favor, but that's the pretty much best top deck they could have. But we still got plenty of gas going on. We're about to see 2 new cards. Lingering Souls lines up well here, as does Voice of Resurgence. Definitely playing Voice. And I think I'm just playing Goyf here as well, not worrying so much about Trophy at the moment. I'm just getting my big board down here. If Lily ticks up, I expect she probably will, we'll pitch Lingering Souls. They will trophy the Tarmogoyf. That was a very good top deck. I think I'm going to get a little risky and go to 5 and just answer Liliana cleanly with our Voice. Obviously, we could die to, like, double bolt off the top, but I think that's relatively unlikely. Cashing in Spellbomb here. Another Lingering Souls seems okay. Seems okay. Run out the Bauble. Play the back half of this Souls. Upkeep, Bauble them. And we're going to trophy the Goyf. Ashiok Dream Render. Sure. So they might mill themselves, then exile us. Yes. Curious to see what they do here. Yeah, they do send in. I mean, we're just trophying either way, but... A game like this and a situation like this makes me kind of wonder about cutting a Traverse in a matchup like this. Again, I don't know how correct that is. Well, we're going to hope they never have a Plague Engineer and just go Souls mode here. Attack Ashiok off the field. And we got 2 answers in hand, so that's awesome. Plus a mostly dead Traverse. You can go get a Plains with it, but I don't see the point. They rip Scooze. A good card. But one we can beat. We rip a land, not ideal. So we'll pulse Scoozy. They will eat our trophy and potentially eat their Goyf to gain a life. And we will swing for 8. I guess I'm not fetching until I need to. Ooh, another brick. Opponent's at 3. Do we have them? We have them. All right, a complete domination of Jund there with some really good curve outs. That's what we're talking about. I hate to be yet another experimental deck that thrives against Jund and other BGX decks. That's not my intent here, but it is a side effect of the Lurrus game plan. So I mean, we were literally 10 seconds away or less from beating Bant. And also the opponent top decked really well, and a lot of turning points at a lot of junctures in that game, right? And then we just crushed Jund pretty hard, so this is a great advertisement for Lurrus itself thus far. We're on the play for game 3. And this hand will do. If Fatal Push doesn't have text, it's kind of a lot of air, but let's hope it has text. Botanical Sanctum. Okay, is this Neoform? If they're going Sanctum into Serum Visions, it might be Neoform. The bug's back. Well, it was good for round 2. I've got to restart clearly before round 3. My apologies, guys. I will continue looking into ways to fix this. I've done a clean uninstall and reinstall. I've done other things. I've, looked into reducing my memory usage, and I've done that. Sorry about the bug. I think we're supposed to bobble ourselves here and then decide whether or not to fetch based on that, because I want to maximize my odds of drawing a discard spell. And our life total doesn't matter much. So why don't we see what's on top of our own deck? Windswept Heath. Shuffling that away. No two ways about it. Okay, so Fatal Push does not have text. We're in trouble against Neoform keeping 7 and us having no interaction that matters. Unless we draw it right now. We don't. It's Grim Flayer. So I think Bob is the play over Flayer right now. Just to have higher chances of, maybe they have a turn 3 kill set up and we want to draw another 2 cards and try to find Thoughtseize and Inquisition. But they could very well just go off right now. I wish I could restart my client while they were comboing off. Maybe I can. I think if I click X, it's going to prompt me to concede the match, though. So I don't think I really can, and I also can't do it in between games. But yeah, they're just going to turn to us here. Ridiculous. I mean, you're either against a deck that plays an historically improbable number of X for ones, and they're all resource generation instead of resource denial, which I've ranted and raved about many times now on the channel. Or you're against Neoform that has turn 1 kill potential. Sometimes it feels like the two polarities of Modern are what you run into in other really polarized archetypes like Big Mana and whatever else. Admittedly, Jund is not one of them, and we have faced Jund. But yeah, opponents got everything they need. They've hit 2 Nourishing Shoals already. We are almost certainly dead, but we'll make them execute it here. With only 7 cards left in the library, if their win conditions are down in the bottom 7, then, we still probably lose unless we draw a way to kill Gristlebrand off of Bob. But even then, the game still goes on. They just get to, because they didn't have to pact here. Again, they've just had everything. So this is a matchup where Lurrus does not matter much, obviously. But if you do, where Lurrus could matter is if you have to mulligan low-ish looking for disruption. Then you go to 6 or 5 and you have a good disruptive hand but no threats. Well, Lurrus is a built-in threat. That's your eighth or, your +1 card in hand, I guess I should say. And that's pretty good. So Gaddock Teeg shuts off Nourishing Shoal. I think we're going to play him just for that, and he's better. He's as good at Sunbear just about as attacking. I think Damping Sphere is fine here. I know Collective Brutality is good here. I know Tidehollow Sculler is good here. I might play Rain of Tears on the play as well. I don't think we want anything else, even though they're a base blue deck. Boyle is not really live. They don't play many islands. They play maybe a couple, but I think mostly they're operating off of 9 island lands. So I'm going to try to fit in all 9 of these cards, and I think we probably can, because we're cutting pushes, and then we're bringing in 3 bears, so we can freely cut 3 other dirtily threats at least. I'm going to cut a Nihil Spellbomb. And we probably want to cut, leave in some answers to Gristlebrand. That can matter, but Decay can definitely get cut. What are our worst bears? Maybe 2 Voice and 1 Lingering Souls are our worst attackers, compared to, Scooze is also kind of bad. Yeah, we could just cut Scooze and play with all of this. It's possible that it's better to cut one of our 5 remaining pieces of removal, though. But, Trophy can hit Gristlebrand at the right spot, or it can hit a land. Path to Exile hits Gristlebrand, and Maelstrom Pulse can deal with Gristlebrand in a weird situation, maybe. Or if they kind of half go off and have Allosaurus Riders, 3 of them on the field, obviously that's our best out to that. So, we have, if we go like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We still have 10 2-drop threats, all of which are far better than Scooze. Plus the 3 sideboarded ones. Yeah, we have 13 2-drop threats. I think this is fine. Neoform. Well, at least this was going to be a quicker one, right? And I'm all about bringing the content, but that round 1 has got me shook, man. I don't want to play any more of those round 1s. Inquisition into Flayer. The hand doesn't do much else, but that alone is pretty much worth a keep. Jeez, how often does Neoform keep 7 twice? Oh, Veil of Summer, what a surprise. We pretty much have to take that. We could get cute and say, we're just not going to play into it, but all of our good draws that we'll be looking for with Grim Flayer are ones that get blown out by Veil of Summer, so we pretty much just have to take it, as far as I can see. Tarmogoyf. A respectable draw, but I'm going to run out the Flayer first. Right now, their clock is similar. By the time we get to attack, the Goyf might be slightly higher, but obviously, again, Flayer looking for those good action cards is what we want, and he's going to grow himself and the Goyf, almost certainly, by connecting here. Mishra's Bauble. It's actually kind of tempting to play Lurrus this turn and buy back the Bauble, but we'll see what happens here. Dark Confidant, Lingering Souls, Thoughtseize. Okay, easy bin of souls. I think I might bin the Bob too, to get closer to Traverse. That helps. Definitely putting Thoughtseize on top. The question then becomes, do we play Lurrus or do we play Tarmogoyf? Right now, Lurrus's clock is almost as good as Goyf's. By the time the artifact hits the yard, Goyf will be bigger. But I kind of... You know what, guys? We are here. We're here to test Lurrus. Let's jam. See what the opponent's going to draw. They might just T3 us, right? But we're getting some good looks. And we are drawing a Thoughtseize next turn, so if they don't turn 3 us this turn... Or, sorry, we've drawn a Thoughtseize now that we'll use next turn. If they don't turn 3 us... Did they find... They're going to dig for a Neoform right now. So they don't have one yet. I might bobble in response to the next Monomorphose if that's what they do. Just to get a better beat on their hand, but maybe that's... whatever. They just found the rider. Okay. Everything sucks. All is lost. Well, they kept 7. They kept 7. It's really hard to beat Neoform when they keep 7. So now we hope for some bricks off the first 2 Gristlebrand draw 7s. Nope. Nourishing Shoal, gain 15. Feels bad, man. But you see how even in a situation like this, Lurrus was a good play. Like, even when he has no right to be. Chose to play it over Tarmogoyf, and admittedly, that's like a borderline decision. It's not clear that Lurrus was way better, and in this case, it definitely didn't matter. But Lurrus is seeing us a ton of free cards, and it's letting us dig toward... Our Thoughtseize came a turn too late. But if they didn't have the turn 3 kill set up like they do, then we would have, of course, been able to Thoughtseize plus something. Plus see 2 more cards, maybe cast a double discard spell, maybe do something else. Like, Lurrus is still good even when it's not. That's my takeaway right now, but we're getting... This is like the first good matchup we've had, I think, and it's not going well. They're... Again, when Neoform keeps 7, and they've got a turn 2 and turn 3 kill through discard spells, you just gotta throw your hands up and say that's what the deck does. Okay, opponent cycling with Street Wraith. Finding another Nourishing Shoal, or maybe finding the worm that they didn't have, whatever. Doesn't matter which one it was. It was probably one of those, though. Looked for a second there like there might be some kind of a fail rate involved. But not the case. What a sad sight. Laboratory Maniac. Good game. I will see you for... Are you going to do it? Oh my god. I will see you for round 4. I'm going to restart my client. Alright guys, we're back. So sorry about the visual bugs we've been encountering, and sorry about our bad luck. Like, again, this is literally my life with Magic lately. You know, maybe prior to the last month or so, like maybe 1 in 10 times Neoform has curved out like that on me through discard spells. Our hand's fine, we'll keep it. But lately it's just like, yeah, that's no surprise. That's no surprise. It's been a rough little while. It's been a rough little while with some of the luck we've had, but we persist. And we're against Tron keeping 7 on the play. My goodness. Goodness gracious. Okay. Our fun continues. I'm going to begin by bobbling the opponent for max information. A Warping Whale, so it's Eldrazi Tron. I don't know if that's better or worse for us. Okay, we get to take Chalice. Let's play another bobble out before they find another Chalice and put it on 0. I don't need that open. Just getting my tabs all situated. So they have... They do not have Tron rolled up, but they have a lot of land drops, and they're pretty close to Tron, and they also have some good utility. So Warping Whale counters a sorcery, exiles nothing that we play, nothing we have right now anyway, or can ramp them. They're about to draw another Urza's Mine. We draw Goyf and Grim Flayer. Okay, so what threat do we want to play, basically? We're so soft to Blast Zone, it's insane. I think we're supposed to probably play a Flayer, which of course means we've got to start operating painfully off this peatland. But yeah, if they end step make the Scion untap Smasher us, we just have to 2-for-1 ourselves to pulse it, and then we can recoup the value with Lurrus in the mid-game if they don't continue ripping bombs that just completely route around everything we're trying to do. We'll see. Eldrazi Tron has an unfortunate knack of doing exactly that, but so far, in theory, we can handle everything they're throwing at us. And they just kind of had to 2-for-1 themselves to cast the Smasher ahead of curve, right? So, it's all good. For now. For now, it's all good. It's just another matchup that I just simply hate. Just simply hate it. But nobody asked my permission before they registered us against this game, against this list, right? I can't talk anymore. I think we're going to pitch the other Flayer to this. You could pitch that land that we just drew, but I'm comfortable enough putting a creature in the bin for all the usual reasons. All right. Let's put a Stirring Wildwood in the bin to get... I think I'm putting all 3 of these in the bin, frankly. This seems fine. All right, Flayer's Delirious. We got the Lurrus loop potentially live. That's our best way to play around Blast Zone rather than running out Goyf and Voice into a 3-for-1. And that's definitely the most value-positive thing to do. Of course, the problem is that, like, just not killing them quite as quickly as we should is a great way to get out top-decked by an unbeatable bomb. But we'll see how it goes. Once again, I don't really see any need to keep any of these cards. I'm just going to bin them all. And it is Lurrus time. Lurrus doing a lot. Doing a lot this league. Obviously, we are still just somewhat at the mercy of the opponent, hoping they brick. We have value for days, but that's not always what it's contingent upon. They're about to draw Thought-Knot Seer. Alright, we are just making sure we already played something from the yard. Yeah. Don't really care about Thought-Knot that much. It does make us less able to attack with this Flayer. Maybe we should care about it, because they can zone the Flayer and also Thought-Knot away the Goyf. And then, oof, we're flooding. We're flooding at a crucial time of the game. That's alright, we can just draw like a removal spell for Thought-Knot. Now, of course, I kind of wish I kept Fatal Push now, but most of their top decks that I'm scared of do not die to Fatal Push, so I don't regret that. They have Tron, though, so that's a thing. That's a lovely thing. We know they only have lands in hand, and there is an out immediately off the top to Trophy, or to Thought-Knot in the form of Trophy. Let's get our free spell off of Lurrus before anything else happens. Let's trophy the Thought Knot, draw a card. Tarmogoyf. We'll attack before taking any other action, see if they want to blast zone now. They might. They really might. Taking the hit from a 4/4 Flayer seems a little rough right now. Yeah, no surprise. So since they've done that, I think it's probably better to just play a Goyf over just about anything else. You know what? I could have actually waited to... could have bobbled first to see exactly what they're going to draw, which would better inform the decision, but... let's do it now in their upkeep. Another Thought Knot. I was just about to say, but waiting to bobble plays better around Thought Knot. So Thought Knot takes Voice. Not that big a deal. We're getting all the 2-for-1s with Lurrus. We've got a Goyf that they can't block without chumping. Abrupt Decay, Path to Exile. Path to Exile is good. I almost just reflexively cast the Bauble. Should we be casting a creature? I guess we should be pathing first to get our card. We're drawing pretty hot, not gonna lie. Not gonna lie, not gonna lie. That is the scoop. Whoo, boy. Eldrazi Tron getting wrecked by Lurrus. I think I am okay with that, my friends. So, Reign of Tears. Gaddock Teeg probably should come in. It shuts off their big Planeswalker payoffs. It shuts off all his dust. Damping Sphere. Literally, with any BGX deck you play, a lot of your cards feel medium. Like, their Gaddock Teeg is high variance. Damping Sphere sometimes doesn't matter that much. Reign of Tears seems high variance, but we're probably supposed to play all these cards. I don't know about Tidehollow Sculler. I also don't know about Collector Ouphe. We'll put those over here. Ouphe is good in a normal BGX deck against Eldrazi Tron, I think, but we play some baubles. And is it worth making our baubles worse? Do we want to trim away from baubles? What should we be doing? It's an interesting call. We'll begin by shaving the cards we know are bad, like Brutality and Spellbomb. And again, a lot of our main deck stuff is kind of medium too. I think I've been toying with like cutting a Traverse for a while. I think this is a fine matchup to try that. Trim a Traverse. I don't know. So I think these 5 are clear enough plays that I think I'm fine with playing all of these. I only want to bring in Ouphe if we're trimming heavily on baubles, which probably is just incorrect, right? Bauble with Lurrus was why we buried them so hard that game. Cutting a couple Inquisitions is always fine against Eldrazi Tron. Let's run it like this. I could actually see leaving in an extra Inquisition on the draw, though. You could trim another Chalice to be less soft to... or another Traverse to be less soft to Chalice, or you could trim a Dirtily Threat. I'm gonna really experiment with fewer Traverse. We'll see how it goes. It's kind of interesting to wonder how good Traverse actually is. Compared to just like playing a low curve with the baubles and with the Delirium stuff, but without Traverse itself. That might be something to work on for brewing this Lurrus archetype even further. But Traverse is a very strong card too. But without Shadow... without Shadow in the shell, and the upsides and downsides of Shadow, and the fact that you're like building around Shadow, so you really need to have as many virtual copies of it as you can. Traverse is a little bit less appealing. We do have like a kind of Hateberry sub-theme, so that makes Traverse more appealing. I don't know. Something to think about. I hope this Eldrazi Tron player just mulligans to Oblivion, personally. This is we're just drawing a lot of the matchups that make me a little bit tilted, so I'm really glad we're competitive in all of them. But that doesn't mean we aren't looking for a free win, you know? Give us the free win. We've suffered enough so far. We need a nice clean 2-0 for morale against E-Tron. Declare our companion. Lurrus has been MVP of this league so far, by the way. Maybe that's to be expected, but card's been mighty impressive, if you ask me. Opponent will mulligan. Sadly, we have to mulligan, too. It's a one-lander with no discard. Send it back. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. This is a totally fine hand. The Stomping Ground is kind of terrible, but it's a fine hand. I think we are going to bottom Path to Exile and just go on the discard and land destruction plan if we can. OP keeping 7 as well. Power Plant Relic. Relic is annoyance. Hey, there's a Blooming Marsh. Okay, they have a 2-lander, Mindstone, Walking Ballista, Great Creator. I think we take Mindstone here for sure. And we're just going to bauble the cantrip. They're going to take care of our graveyard. Post-haste with the Relic, sadly. But I think just curving out is important here. And so to that end, we could, again, have baubled on our turn, but whatever. That's a clear take of Mindstone no matter what's on top, I think. And they have a Reality Smasher on top. So their hand's going nowhere fast. Hopefully they have to crack the Relic next turn to try to hit a land drop, and they still fail. That would be the ideal outcome. In the meantime, I guess we're probably going to take Great Creator. But maybe we'll draw another Thoughtseize and totally empty out their hand. Nope, we've just hit 2 lands. Yikes. Okay, Thoughtseize, you. Take the Great Creator, play the Temple Garden, and now we really hope they brick on lands. Just like we were, but now we kind of need them to because we're flooded. We're flooded badly. Instantly hit the land. Reign of Tears is still going to be good, but I think Power Plant is the correct land to hit here. Once again, we need them to, like, naturally miss a land drop so that they are priced into cracking the Relic, looking for one. And then we still hope they miss, obviously, after that. Okay. Ooh. They have not made the land drop, but they're also not cracking Relic. How interesting. How very interesting. Draw of Lingering Souls is awkward in light of that. It almost makes me want to just play the Lurrus. Like, shock in, push the Ballista, play the Lurrus. I think I'm going to. I think I want both halves of Souls. White, black, yeah, okay. It's kind of a weird play, but this is still card advantage for us, and we're playing around the relic as best as we can. Okay, now they crack the relic, so we have played around it. And obviously we hope they brick on lands yet again. Nope. It's a tower, though, so we hit the right land. Dismembering Lurrus. Fatal Push your Ballista. Okay. So now we are going to go double Lingering Souls, probably, against their hand of 1 unknown plus Reality Smasher. We are continuing to flood. Hate to see it. Really hate to see it. Do they have a Warping Wail to counter this Lingering Souls? That's what it looks like to me. If so, they might be considering whether to counter it or whether to make the Mana Dork, and I guess they're going to make the Mana Dork. Which makes sense, obviously. Sure enough. Alright, now we really got a Fatal land, because we just can't handle a Smasher without a good top deck here. They hit the land. They never don't have it, do they? And it's even an Eldrazi temple, so they get to keep their dork around, but they sack it anyway for no reason. I'm going to give opponent credit there and say that was just to style on us, but I think it was a mistake or a misclick. Alright, well, now we need a good top deck here. A really good top deck. Opponent's Hellbent. We draw Inquisition. Bro. That really sucks. Okay, we erase you. We're dead, obviously, to another Smasher. We're very soft to many other things. Okay, they drew a land. Come on, out to Smasher. Fatal Push. Technically, the game still goes on. We just have to have the small price of throwing away all 4 of our creatures to chump block the Smasher, and we'll still go to 1. This feels so bad. Doop. Bye-bye, spirits. We know what might give us a chance is if opponent plays a Thought-Knot Seer. Now they just have another land. Okay. The game can still go on. They name Goat with Cavern. Okay, opponent is styling on us. Draw another Lingering Souls. I don't know if it's possible to have draws that feel worse than that in that spot. Okay. Going on to Game 3 will be on the play, which is great. We want to do anything differently. Again, I don't think Ouphe in, Baubles out is really where we want to be. Tidehollow, maybe a little better on the play. Just seems so fragile. And it just clusters us even more around the 2-drop slot. I think most of our other stuff is better. I'm going to run it back. You know, you could cut an Inquisition for a Tidehollow on the play, but I think this is also good. Come on, awesome 7. Come on, awesome 7 for us, to be clear. This isn't awesome. It might be keepable. Goyf Trophy Pulse. 4 lands. It's pretty underwhelming, but I think it's just about a keep on the play. Really hoping to see the opponent mulligan to some non-functional hands here. The weaker their hand is, the more a hand like this can take advantage of it. Sadly, they just keep 7. They just keep 7. Power plant map. Alright, guys. Not looking good. We draw another land. Very bad stuff. If we added Decay, I would have snapped it off there. But obviously we can't keep flooding. We kept a slightly land-heavy hand. Cannot keep flooding here. If opponent has Tron rolled up, we'll definitely be priced into trophying a Tron land. Hey, they don't. Okay. Fatal Push. That is not an unreasonable draw. But I would certainly prefer something more proactive right now. Or just a 1-2 Tarmogoyf is kind of a bad joke. We gotta run out this fetch land in case they tutor and play an Eldrazi Temple into a Thought-Knot Seer. They tutor Urza's Tower. Doesn't mean they don't have a temple, but indeed they do have a temple. And indeed they will be casting a Thought-Knot Seer. Okay. We are rewarded. We could have considered trophying as well, but I don't believe that to be correct here. Like, they're not really threatening Tron, so we just, I think, let this resolve. And if they want to take the trophy, they can. But they have other things to worry about as well. They do take trophy, though. Like, it's not clear what our best use case of trophy is there. We drew another one anyway. Interesting. Okay, well, I will play a Grim Flayer. And I will hope they don't have a Blast Zone, but it'll take them a little while to get it rolled up anyway. There's that tower. This is a scary point in the game, obviously. Even trophying something feels pretty bad here, but yeah, if they play Smasher, we might actually just not trophy it. We might just take the hit. Walking Ballista on 1. Not what I expected to see. They could, yeah, they could have played it as a 2-2 and killed the Flayer, at least. What does that mean? That probably means they have a Dismember as well, right? But they didn't make another land drop. What an interesting turn. Mishra's Bauble. I mean, we could Pulse and play a Bauble to get Delirium, but they seem to have something, don't they? So why don't we attack first and see what happens, and then we'll decide how to sequence after that. But Bauble's a really good draw. Because we can play Lurrus. I'm going to just do this now. They're going to draw Chalice of the Void. Okay, good to know about. Inquisition, I'm going to bin. Catacombs, I'm going to bin. I think Dark Confidant, I'm going to bin. We're just binning all this stuff. Then we're going to shock in, play the Lurrus for sure. And then we can either buy back Bob or Bauble. But if we buy back Bauble, we can hold up Trophy, which is probably the correct move here. Also, as always, diversifying us around the CMC when possible. Voice of Resurgence. Yeah, glad I didn't really buy back Bauble, though. We'll just see. We'll just see what they have. Expedition map. Oh boy. That's why we held up Trophy, though. So I guess we're supposed to Trophy the tower in response right now, right? Seems correct. We have lethal on field. Almost, actually. We were one shy of lethal. Dang, that's a tilt. Yeah, this has still got to be correct, though, I believe. It's really hard to say, though. We need to put... we kind of have all the common expected to... Okay, that's the scoop. Apparently that was good enough. Sweet. We experienced the visual bug again near the end of the match. Hey, we took down Eldrazi Tron. Lurrus playing a massive role there. Love it. Love it. All right. It's been rocky, guys, but we're 2-2. I'm going to restart the client yet again, and I'll see you for round 5. And we are back, my friends, for round 5, taking down the Eldrazi Nemesis. That feels great. Talk about a meta hostile to mid-range, though, you know. Again, the only favorable matchup so far has been Neoform, and as you can see, they can just kind of T2 and T3 you even when your matchup is good. So it's been testing, but we are in the mix with a relatively experimental list and a pretty fine hand here to keep on the play in round 5. So let's begin by bobbling the opponent. Avalanche Riders. Oh my goodness. Is this a living end? This is like an unwinnable matchup if so. No, this is a very different deck. This is Soul Herder. Oh, they have a companion too. I did not notice that. Okay. Well, this seems pretty bad too, doesn't it? Just like value blinks.deck. Yorion is the companion of choice. Avalanche Riders is a scary one. Oh boy, that's a land destruction card. I'll show you that if you're not familiar with it once we decide what to do here. Coiling Oracle, Soul Herder, Ephemerate. Temptation here is to take the Coiling Oracle and hope our baubles are kind with more removal and or discard in a timely fashion. So let's eliminate this. Avalanche Riders, Haste Echo, ETB, destroy target land, 2/2. Yeah, pretty rough. Okay, Inquisition coming off of our first bauble. I guess we should crack this bauble even though it's not going to give us correct info after their fetch. There's another Soul Herder on top. We'll have to remember to get rid of that, but we just want to see as many cards as we can as early as we can. You know, I don't think we need to cast the other Inquisition now. I think we should be playing Tarmogoyf. And we probably want to play him off of this fetch land to get white live. And also to grow him. So let's put the pressure down with good old-fashioned Goyf. Next turn we'll Inquisition the Soul Herder. And... or we could, we probably kind of have to Inquisition Soul Herder. But Lurrus into Bauble is live whenever we want it to be. But dang, all we do is flood, it seems, sometimes. That sucks. That really does just suck that we drew another land. Really wanted a double spell turn. I'm going to begin by attacking with the Goyf. I'm really, really tempted to go Lurrus here. I think I might. And try to hope to use all our bauble loops to draw kill spells. And we know our Inquisition is going to have a target on turn 4. It's going to be able to hit either Chord or Ephemerate if they tap out for a Soul Herder. So at the risk of letting Soul Herder resolve and being unable to answer it, I think this is actually pretty reasonable. But we'll see what they have here. If this is just an Ice Fang or something that they drew, I don't know that the deck plays it, but it probably does, right? It is. Well, no Death Touch. Okay. Yeah, sadly, now I do think we should Inquisition, because they have a good blink target. Eternal Witness, Soul Herder, and they found the third land. Ooh, there's nothing they don't have. I think we just have to take Soul Herder, because Ewit is slow. But man, I cannot believe their value and our lack of good draws. If we, at any point, had drawn another live spell, whether it be another threat or another piece of interaction, I would be pretty darn happy. Opponent rips a Wall of Blossoms off the top. Interesting. They're attacking with Quattle. Okay. Alright, show me the love, top deck. Path to Exile. Send in the Goyf. Wall will block. And then they'll Ephemerate. I mean, it's kind of a no-win situation for us to path it or not, but I think we're probably... Are we supposed to path it? They get to rebound? Oh my goodness, this card is a disaster to play against. Well, both players are just going to be looping value. I guess we're supposed to let this happen. This is not a good matchup for us, I don't think. I don't know what their deck is supposed to do against the decks we've been playing, like Neoform and Tron and stuff, but they're pretty good against us, aren't they? Alright, it's Lurrus time. Bauble you. I already played something from the graveyard. Is that another Ephemerate that we just revealed? I think so. Well, all we can try to do is find, a good spot for it. We just have to... We can't compete over these little things here right now, I don't think. We just have to kind of leverage our onboard advantage and our Lurrus value. And hope our pressure is good enough. Okay, opponent has achieved Death Touch with the top deck of Astrolabe into another snow land. A couple turns ago they had no snow permanents, now they have 3. You hate to see it. You really do hate to see it. I guess we're pathing Quattle now, aren't we? I kind of want to save it for their companion, but I guess, committing to the pressure plan is what we're supposed to do. This is a really weird game, and I don't know if I'll play it optimally. Let's begin by bobbling them. Ephemerate on the top again. Okay, I don't know how accurate their hand is, but I think it's correct, right? Just no Eternal Witness anymore. You know, these Lingering Souls are actually potentially quite decent. We've drawn Trophy. Yeah, drawing more removal is fine. But we're firmly the aggro here. So they're going to get to bounce all. What a ridiculous setup. Was it Sam Black? I think somebody said that this is the best companion, Yorion Sky Nomad. You can kind of see why on the basis of something like this. But again, what does this deck do when it's not against a mid-range or control deck, right? So look at the hand. Charming Prince. So they're about to draw Charming Prince. Value for days. Seems like a bad matchup for us. Not much more I can say about it, I guess. But we're about to trophy the Nomad here, and opponent's discarding the hand size because they have 10 cards in hand. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. We found Traverse, Grim Flayer. I think we just continue looping baubles. I think we trophy this thing. Obviously, giving them the untapped land kind of sucks here, because they have Ephemerate or potentially Path to Exile, but like again, we are just the aggro here. Yeah, this is a miserable deck to face if you ask me. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm still having fun. I hope you are too. But like, this is not what I want Modern to become, personally. But that's where the current design trends are going, isn't it? Okay, one Ephemerate down. Opponent's at 3. Let's look at their top deck. I don't think we know it, but it's hard to keep track. They're about to draw a land. Okay. Our best bet is probably just to play another Lingering Souls and try to present lethal. Souls OP, man. Souls OP. Not against Reality Smasher, as we saw in the game we lost against the one match of Eldrazi Tron, but pretty good on these value-oriented, stalled-out board states. Opponent just doing the mana-efficient thing, I guess. Drawing a fresh card. Blinking the wall. Do they have a way to beat Lingering Souls? Night of Autumn. Gain 4 life. That extends the game. That's actually kind of scary, because we know how good their hand is. Oh, but they fetched down to 6, so now they're dead on board again. But Charming Prince can gain life. Yep, okay, that's the play. And they're going to hold up an Ephemerate. Oh, they're going to blink Night, because it's slightly more life gain than just gaining 3. Yeah, that's pretty good. Thoughtseize. Lurrus, the only reason we're in this game, by the way. Yeah, let's begin with a Thoughtseize, I guess. You guys will have to let me know if you see other people play consistently games with such insane, grindy everything, you know, as you do with me. I feel like most other people, when I'm listening to their matches, they're like, yeah, you know, I played a grindy deck, a big mana deck, and then 3 faster decks, and for me it's like this. I don't know what's going on with it, but it is interesting. So right now they can chord for 2. I think we probably just have to take the Sky Nomad, don't you? This card is just so good. I don't know what chord, you know, what they can unlock with chord, but they're all the way back up at 14 life. I'll traverse. I think I want Scavenging Ooze here on this board state. I think that is indeed the play. And I think I like that a little bit better than making the souls, although souls are, of course, lethal. But, like, if they have to chump block a bunch to stay alive, too. And also, as I was going to say, they have Ephemerate here, too. Gain more life if that's what they want to do. And nothing we can do about it. Ooh, Blinking Eternal Witness seems wrong because we get to compete over that. Whatever they target. And we will. I mean, it makes us not target a creature with Ooze, I guess. That's something, but this is why I got the Scoos. We'll see if it pans out. The clock could matter here, for real. We were worried about Avalanche Riders. Look how different the game is from those early stages. Lurrus of the Dream Den. Our takeaway from this is that this card is nutty. That's what I'm feeling now. Again, you can let me know. You can correct me if you think I'm wrong. But Lurrus, I think, is the only reason we're competitive, and Lurrus has been good, even against Neoform and Eldrazi Tron. Certainly has been our all-star in these matchups. What is this? What is in their deck that they chord for that much? Chord for 5 is terrifying. Kiki Cheeky. Whoa. Alright, so I guess they probably have a Kiki Cheeky Restoration Angel combo. And in general, of course, Kiki can play the value game just fine. Alright, let's bobble you. They're about to draw a brick in the form of a land. Let's eat that companion. Nihil Spellbomb. Assassin's Trophy. I'm not going to think too hard about this. I could, but I'm kind of spent, to be honest, so I'm just going to do this now. Maelstrom Pulse. Alright, now I should think about it. Do we have lethal if we pulse away something? Let's say we pulse away a 2-1. They block, we swing for 9. So no, we do not have lethal. Therefore, I don't think we should remove anything, or if we do, it should be Kiki Jiki. So let's just get back our bauble. I'm attacking with everything, including Lurrus at this point. Just gonna Pulse Kiki while we can. Okay, I think we got there, but it was really hard. It was really intense. We did it. All right. Okay, I hope second game's easier, and I hope we can come away with a 3-2, because again, guys, I'm pretty spent, but that's an interesting build. So it's a Court of Calling deck with Mono Dorks and with a million Blink pieces. This is a deck that Plague Engineer would absolutely crush. Not like they can't beat him, but so many of their things are their Blink tricks, and they're just like expensive X1s, just Plague Man's so effective. It's not like they're a tribal deck with all the same types, but you understand the point. Gaddock Teeg shuts off Court of Calling, and if they play Collected Company, which they might, it shuts that off too. Another Spellbomb seems fine, Brutality seem good. It's probably about all we're doing. I think our 60 is pretty fine. In fact, I'm struggling to see cuts. I think like trimming an Inquisition, trying to strike the balance between good top decks and the power of discard is warranted. I guess they're not killing many things, so Voice is probably our worst 2-drop. I could even see cutting a Tarmogoyf as well, because they do play Quattles, and just leaning, kind of like we do against Bant, more into our disruption than the quality of our ability to race them. I think I'm going to do that. I don't see anything else I dislike. Like, the cards we're bringing in are good. Wait, why is Damping Sphere? That's supposed to be a Spellbomb. There we go. Cards we're bringing in are good. All of our removal's good. Souls is good. Bob, Scooz, Flayer. I think I want all these cards more than I want a 4th Goyf. Once again, we could cut a Traverse the Ulvenwald. Is that better? Yeah, you know, I haven't been that impressed by Traverse yet. I think going down to 2, keeping 4 Goyf, that seems fine. All right. Let's do it, guys. Let's get it. We have a perfectly acceptable keep. As unfortunately does the opponent. We're pushing this Monodork. We've drawn Thoughtseize. Alright, so I'm going to bauble my... No, I'm not going to bauble myself because I don't really want to get a black land necessarily off Windswept Heath. And just play the Shrine here. Opponent drawing this Foothills for turn. And playing it. And passing. Is this a Veil of Summer deck? Quite possibly. Oh my god. We're flooding. We're flooding. I think we have to Thoughtseize and make them have it, though. Don't veil me. Don't veil us. Come on. Come on, don't veil us. No veil. Alright, they have the 3rd land, and they have a hand that doesn't really do anything yet. Restoration Angel, Kiki Jiki combo is in it, though, and Huntmaster of the Fells for value. So, this is a tough call. We probably just have to take Resto. I just don't want to lose to the combo. But Huntmaster is something that we can't answer, and we only have one threat. They've got a path for it. Our hand, like, their hand's kind of bad, but our hand just sucks. That's the big problem here. Well, wait a minute. After this resolves, though, we can actually get Traverse to do something, so that's pretty cool. So why don't we do that? We take the Resto. We Traverse for a Temple Garden. Or we fetch for a Temple Garden, we Traverse for What shall it be? What shall it be? Probably Dark Confidant. We want something that is a must-path threat. And something that's good if we draw an Inquisition to beat the path. We draw an Inquisition to beat the path. Okay. Nice draw. Nice draw. They have Ephemerate. I don't think we can worry about that yet. Let's just take the path. Play the Bobby. Start drawing 2 per turn. Hope to fade their 4th land. For sure. Another bad draw would be something like Eternal Witness. Making a board presence and buying back the 4th land. They found Birds of Paradise. Okay. So that's a virtual 4th land, but we can kill it if we draw the right card. We draw Skoo's Thoughtseize. So we failed to draw the right card. But those are some okay ones. Thoughtseize you. Taking away the Huntmaster here. We're playing the value game. Gotta leave Kiki around. Swing in with Bob, and then we're going to play Lurrus and get our bauble back. They're going to draw Wall of Blossoms. That's a pretty good draw. So they're finding some pretty good stuff. They're starting to do it. Oh, and they found, oh no, they're just main phasing Ephemerate. Interesting. Okay. Finding a birds off of it. Bob flips a Nurturing Peatland, and then we find Goyf and Blood Crypt. Okay, just buying back the bauble before much else. Attack with both. Lifelink here is sweet. Okay, I think I'm going to main phase bauble myself to see what we're about to draw. Lingering Souls. Okay, so that can inform our decision. How? Do we want to shuffle it away? Or do we want to draw it? I think I'm fine drawing it, but that's not clear. But I'm going to play Flayer and Skooz to give them the most amount of things to think about here. But you could really argue playing for playing Goyf. You could really argue for shuffling away Lingering Souls. It's just really hard to say. It's just really hard to say. But I think we should be holding up a Skooz activation here, and Flayer, being delirious, does attack really well into the board. So I guess, okay, I thought they might play the Companion, but that would really be like daring us to have something. And the Coiling Oracle hitting a land is just perfect for them, obviously. It was a bit of a risky play in some ways, but they were rewarded for it. And now they can play the Companion, getting 2 pieces of important value, or they can play Kiki Jiki. Or they can play an unknown card from hand. Kiki. think I'm just going to grow the ooze, staying neutral on life here. Bob flips a Bob, and another Tomb. Man, where is our removal? Ooh. Okay. Okay. I'm going to bauble myself again, seeing what's on top. Another bauble. Okay. Turn them all sideways, see what happens. If only we had a piece of removal here, man. This thing is going to be sacked at the end of turn anyway, so we don't need to grow the Scooze right now. I don't think I want any of these cards. I think I just want removal. Opponent's at 1. Okay. I think we're just supposed to make 4 Lingering Souls tokens and hold up a Scooze activation. But I could well be wrong. Obviously gotta fade Resto here. Collective Brutality is the draw. Coiling Oracle is the play for OP to start. Into a Misty Rainforest that's currently dead. Okay, so no combo this turn. They Kiki and do another Oracle. Into another free land, but nothing else to do with it. Alright, guys, we outground a deck that seemingly does nothing but grind. Like, again, what does that Blink deck do against any of the linear stuff in the format? You got me. Give me a second, and then we will come back for a wrap-up. Alright, my friends, so that was a bit of a struggle session, but we did cash a league through some really tough matchups. Eldrazi Tron, a really tough matchup for any mid-range deck. That Blink deck, again, if it's not good against mid-range or control, what is it good against? That would be my question. Maybe there's something I'm missing. You know, to be fair to them, it does have a combo kill. And they do ramp it out with the Mana Dorks, and there is maybe an anti-big mana plan in the form of Avalanche Riders, but ultimately they hope to be in a grindy match where they can leverage that companion and all of the ephemerates and blowout spot removal and everything like that. So those were tough. Bant is, despite all the new stuff, still probably the deck to beat in the format. That's a tough matchup. They beat us with only 10 seconds remaining on the clock. If we hit, like... I've complained a lot about that match, so I won't really go back into it. But the other thing that leaves a bad taste in my mouth about that is, like, if I had just, like, been a little bit more of a gamesman in round 2, and, like, slowed the clock on a couple of their triggers, waiting for it to resolve, planning to win barely on the clock in game 3, like, that would have been a win. But, like, just like this type of ultra grindy resource generation gameplay is not what I want for Modern. That's also not what I want from a game. Like, I'll try to win on the clock when it becomes clear that that's my best chance to win, but I'm not gonna set out to do that from minute 25, especially while I'm trying to make good content for you. So, but it's just another reason why it kind of sucks to have lost that one. Jund, I don't know who's favored here. Certainly Lurrus is a big mirror breaker, but if you look beyond Lurrus, maybe Jund is slightly favored. Their card quality, individual card quality is probably a little bit higher. So we might be favored just purely on the strength of Lurrus. I don't know. That's an interesting one. But we did come away with that one. And then, ironically, again, the only favored matchup, we got crushed by Neoform. So a 3-2 at the hand of Neoform nut draws. I think on average, this deck and any other BGX deck is favored against Neoform. And yeah, that'll happen. So this was a bit of a strange debut league, but hey guys, this is a bit of a strange deck. and Modern is in a bit of a strange place, so this is apropos. And like I ranted about earlier, I'm sorry to put my own personal travails on you, the viewer, but again, this is just how my life has been lately. It's been a lot of weird deja vu stuff. 2020, man. 2020 is a strange year. Lots of bizarre things going on, and my own life is clearly not immune to them. And I hope to break the spell of these ultra grindy leagues one day. I want to play a league where, like, in at least 4 out of the 5 games, I am the grindy deck. That's, like, the whole appeal of mid-range. If you're playing a traditional black-based mid-range deck, and, like, every deck out there is trying to outgrind you, that's not really where you want to be. And for me, it's not my favorite style of gameplay, but that's out there. You do have to come prepared to do that at least some of the time. Hopefully, you don't have to do it as often as I find myself having to do it lately. Anyway, guys, let's wrap it up there. And, like I mentioned about halfway through the league, just having gotten, these games in and having looked at the lists and seeing what the opponents are playing and playing with us a little bit, there's a lot to like about Abzan. I suspect Jund might be more powerful as a Traverse Lurrus shell. However, Lingering Souls was actually an incredible card here, just like it often is in traditional Abzan. Voice was okay. I don't think Voice is mandatory, and none of us really said it was mandatory when we were brewing, but it is also definitely a really nice one. As it turns out, it was not really the difference maker this time, but that is, like, if the Bant draws had been a little bit less nutty, I think it actually would have been the difference maker in Bant Game 3. But that is an if and a but, and who knows, and you could definitely play something else in Voice's slot if you're not high on the card. Or if you're expecting more of a big mana and combo meta, you could maybe main deck Tidehollow Sculler and have Voices in the side as a swap out for grindy games. I'm not sure. A lot to be said for Lingering Souls, though. I think that's the big attraction to playing white. Path to Exile was a little bit medium here. It had some moments where it was nice, but we also just hate to see it in the opening hand. My first iteration of this actually played 4-push, no path, but most of the other people in the Discord preferred 3-push, 2-path, and I said, okay, I can be won over to that. I don't think it's wrong, but I think you might want to consider more of a micro splash for white, and maybe like 4-push and no path, or if even 4-push and 1-path is better. I don't know. But I am eager to try Jund. I think Jund is lower variance and maybe even higher ceiling with Kroxa and Ren and 6, and with the ability to play Bolt and Seal of Fire and Tarfire, whatever combination of that stuff you want, plus Kolaghan's Command, which is an actual way to buy back a destroyed Lurrus of the Dream Den, which we don't have here. So maybe I will try Jund on the channel soon. But anyway, guys, I think Lurrus was absolutely incredible and outstanding here today. And yes, we do make sacrifices to include it. But again, that's why it's important to find the ultimate shell for Lurrus, where we make as few bad sacrifices as possible to leverage this insanely powerful card. As always, it's hard for me to rate things objectively while I'm in the moment. My mind is occupied by making the decisions and by playing the game and by narrating in a way that I hope is engaging. So you have a better perspective than me, but just sitting here, having experienced that league, I think Lurrus is incredible. It performed even better than I expected, and I've been high on the card from the first moment. So anyway, my friends, that was our league. It was a roller coaster 3-2 grind fest. I've had a few of those lately, I'm not going to lie. That's okay, we're still mixing in 4-1s, and it's just a super grindy format, and I attract grindy decks like moths to a flame, it seems. So that's just how it is now. And I hope you guys enjoyed it anyway. I know I've been a little bit worried about how long my leagues have been lately, but so many of you have messaged me and said either you watch it in increments so it doesn't matter, or it's actively a good thing because it's more for you to listen to, more content for you to consume. So there's nothing I can do about how long the leagues are, and I hope for the majority of you do think that is an upside. Thank you so much, my friend The Fjord, for your generous support. I hope we did your deck justice on the debut. We had a lot of tough matchups and we came out ahead. Thank you once again to Maybe Lotus's Dan for generously loaning the Lurrus, and thank you, as I mentioned earlier, to our 7 Patreon supporters. One of them an upgrade, the Argus, coming from an Inquisitor climbing up their ranks to a Confidant. Then we have a trio each of new Inquisitors and new Confidants, the former being Leopold Stuck, James Proctor, and Tanguy Tretu, and the latter being Bobby Fitzgerald, Knight Ev, or Knight EV, and Ricky Rankle. I appreciate each and every one of you guys, and I hope you enjoyed this league. Stick around because we are going to play Urolgari next. That would be blue rock, basically. A classic BGX rock shell with Uro, Snapcaster Mage, and Thought Scour, and maybe some sideboard cards. That's another donation league. Beyond that, I've got some spicy Rakdos list I might bring to you. I've got, I kind of want to play the Jund version of this, and I kind of want to call it good there. So thanks again, and let me know what you think. Hope everybody out there has a wonderful day, and I hope your matchups are better than mine have been lately. Yeah, that's all we got. Thanks again. I will talk to you soon. Please stay safe out there and be well.